ever step back, let's say in any of these films, did you ever step back and structurally think about structure? I want to talk about structure because it's so important. It's sort of the pathway of how the audience will experience this journey. What is that pathway? What is the shape? Where are the turns and twists of that pathway? And what's the topography?
Structure is kind of my weakest point.
I don't think so.
It takes a village. It does. Structure is very, very hard. I have very good instincts, and I'm very good with timing. I didn't know that
you're kind
until
of a comic, as I saw in Bernard Tapie this time. I really got that from you. You have comic timing.
All right.
But with Polanski, I mean, it was a procedural. Procedurals are boring. I didn't have one of the people in the procedurals until in the film until I was already done making it. Polanski's lawyer. I filmed the DA at the beginning and Polanski's lawyer at the end. So at a certain point, and they were the two ones telling the story. I think a lot of that has to do with your editor in terms of what you do structurally, because the editor's role, I mean, you edit, but
I edited both of those films
yeah.
that we're talking
so
about.
She's
it's really messed up. It's not recommended.
I mean, to me, I bow down to editors, and I work around editors' moods. I give them what they need. I leave them alone. Everything I don't do with my husband. And better work comes from that. With Polanski, I had one editor who, it was all very structured. And then I always wanted Joe Binney to cut the film, but he wasn't available. And once I had something that was just like a slab of meat, kind of, I ended up going back to Joe, and at the same time we got all this archive that, we didn't even seek out. We'd been working on the film for so long that NBC News called, or my researcher called NBC on another project, Michelle. And the guy said, "Oh, are those girls still working on the Polanski movie?" He had found Polanski footage that my producer didn't even want to have me go look at because I had to pay to go look at it. And it was Polanski arriving at Chino. It was what made the film the film. And the thing is, it's all kind of, you're working with found objects. And sometimes you don't find the objects until later. And that was Polanski was a great lesson for me on the role of the director, editor, what I get from someone else, how I can raise my game, and just how it really depends on the editor. Because otherwise I would be the director, editor, and I'm not. I mean, it is a craft. And I don't know what it's like when you do your own.
Maddening. That's insane. I mean, We Live in Public. The problem was I shot for both of those films too much footage for anybody else to do it. With Dig, I was trying to finish the movie before I had my son, and it was really gruesome. I mean, I tried to hire people, and then they'd just give up because they were just like, well, I can't. I need the rest of the time to just watch all this stuff, With We Live in Public, it was double the amount of footage. It was 5,000 hours of footage, I had to just have really sweet, dedicated, intelligent, hopefully, you hope, people scanning through all those, because I didn't shoot the 5,000 hours. I'm not that crazy, but no, he had a lot of machines shoot the footage, yes. So I had to have somebody scanning just when he lived with his girlfriend in the apartment, the 32 motion controlled surveillance camera shooting 24/7 for 6 months, with 66 microphones. So double the sound, which is pretty brilliant actually. But there was the kitty litter pan to throw in anytime you needed, it was brilliant stuff. I mean, I was super
And the toilet.
lucky. Oh, and the toilet cam, which I was not. There was also another toilet cam which I spared people of mostly. But that's not the point. The point is, I don't even know what to say. For me, I approach it as a sculptor. I really do. I lay it out as I experienced it. And then I start moving it around as it needs to go. And, for example, Anton became a heroin addict right after he got money. He got money for the first time, and he put it up his arm right after he got his record deal. But for an audience, finally, finally the band is going to have some high moment. We're going to be able to be happy here for a minute, you know? I have to figure out what to do
They get the house.
to lengthen the time,
Right.
you know? So I send them to Japan.
Okay.
Yes. So I move Japan.
Yeah.
Japan has to come. You just have to feel good for like 3 minutes, narratively, you know? So things like that. And then with We Live in Public, a big discovery was inherent in the actual footage. The metaphor for the entire film is the virtual boxes that we are now all trapped in, some to more or less extents. We do have control to some extent over how we use technology, but we have these virtual boxes that, you know, help us to communicate and also make us available 24/7, and this desire to share and this lack of privacy and all of that. That was the theme of the film, and it was right there. It was right there in all the boxes that I was shooting in the bunker. It was in the 100. It was right there. So that became a very aesthetic theme that I used in the film.